This is going to be kind of a different kind of a video, but it's um it's something that I've been wondering about lately. I think about the deep stuff. There's a purpose of why God does everything to the last detail. There's a purpose why He does it, and this is what I've been thinking about lately. Your physical design, what you physically look like. God made you physically look like that for a reason. How you physically look. You know what I mean? And that's what I've been thinking about lately. A lot. I'm like, why did God make me look like this? Like this? Why did God design me to look like this physically? You know what I mean? I don't look like anybody in my family. Nobody. Which makes it even more interesting of what God did to put me in that family. I don't look like any of them. None of them. It's like I have different DNA than them. You know what I mean? It's like the biological things of science. The father's DNA into the mother's egg. That didn't happen with me. God designed me totally different than what science and biology says. You know, I should have some traits of my parents. I should. I don't. Makes it even more interesting. Give it a mean. Anybody could say, just looking at me, and even me, I'm adopted, 100%. My parents lied to me. I'm adopted. I did not come out of my mother. I'm adopted. Anybody could have said that, even me. That's how different I look from everybody. Maybe that's why they hated me as well. I look different, you know. Like, he looks like nobody in our family. Let's hate him. You know, he looks different. Maybe that's one of the reasons. I don't know. But that's what I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, why did God make me look like this? You know, and God knows I've struggled with self-hate most of my life. A lot of my life, I wouldn't even look in the mirror. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I'd be really fast. I wouldn't look in the mirror. For a lot of my life, I would avoid mirrors. I would. That's what's crazy. I've been through that kind of shit as well. I've been through so much shit. I've been through that, like body dysmorphic disorder. I've been through that. Like, you don't see yourself correctly in the mirror. You don't. You don't see what other people see. What other people see physically of me, I don't see that in the mirror. That's what I'm saying. God knows it. I don't see myself properly. I'm trying to these days better. But I feel like you know I was hated so much that I taught myself to hate myself. You know what I mean? To avoid mirrors. Just do everything really fast and get out of there. Avoid it. Isn't that crazy? God knows that's true. So that's what I was thinking about lately. It's like, why did God make me look like this? My physical appearance, not my spirit. Because I don't believe my spirit looks like my physical at all. It doesn't. I can feel it. My spirit doesn't look like my physical. That's why it throws me off when I look at myself in the physical mirror. I'm like, that's not me. You know what I mean? My spirit is a lot bigger and meaner. It is. My spirit is a lot bigger and meaner. My best friend used to call me big guy. I'm not even that much bigger than him. He called me big guy. As if I was a huge spirit or something. Huge soul. You know what I mean? Which is probably correct. My spirit feels like it's big compared to my physical self. You look at my physical self, you're like, that person doesn't have a big, huge spirit. It's it throws people off. You know what I mean? If they knew the truth. You know what I mean? But I know God sees my real spirit. He does. He sees past the physical. But there's a reason why He made my physical appearance like this. And that's what I've been trying to figure out. Why did God make my physical appearance look like this? There's a purpose to it. There was a reason for it. There was. I know it. There was a reason why He made me look like this. Exactly. for people. No joke. There was a reason he made me look like this. Nothing about vanity, nothing about any of that. God made me look like this for a reason. Exactly like this. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought I've been having lately. I mean, of all the designs he could have made me, why this one for me? My physical self. And I've always thought this. And this was a crazy thought. I thought this back in a little far back in my past. I wondered, and this is a crazy statement. I wondered, like not a lot of people, if Jesus came in his resurrected self right now, in his resurrected body, would people back in the day recognize him? No, they wouldn't. I believe he would look different than he did back in the day. Jesus would look different than he did back in the day. I've always assumed that. He didn't resurrect into the body of what he was on the cross with. I don't feel like he was. Not the exact body. I've always thought this. Jesus looks different than he does from back in the day, right now. He does. I know he does. But I don't know exactly what it looks like. But for some reason, God wanted me to look like this. For God. Physically, he wanted me to look like this. And I always assumed this. What does Jesus look like? So when people are looking at me, are they kind of looking at what Jesus looks like in his physical form right now? I've been thinking about this. Is that why he wants so many people to notice me, see me, you know what I mean, interact with me? Because, so when he comes, they're like, oh, I was already interacting with somebody that looked like you. Isn't that crazy thought? When Jesus comes, when he really comes, they'll be like, oh, I was interacting with someone that looked like you. Me. Oh, hey, what's up? Is Jesus getting people used to what he looks like? Ahead of time. Through me. Slowly. I don't know. Like I said, I've been trying to figure out what God's been doing this whole time. But I know one thing. I know one damn thing. He's made sure so many people have seen me. It's not even funny. He's made sure of it. Even though I want to hide from the world and be a recluse, he's made sure that so many people have seen me that I could go anywhere in this town to be like, hey, what's up? They know me. Anywhere in this town. Oh, hey, what's up? Get what I mean? That's how many people have seen me. Oh, hey, yeah. What's up, man? Anywhere. Anywhere I go. I can't go anywhere and hide. So many people have seen me like, oh, hey, what's up? They've seen me so much, it's not funny. You know what I mean? So I've always been curious. And this is a big statement. If Jesus was on the ground and ruling on the planet in the millennium, what would he look like? What physical form would Jesus choose to look like? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows the physical form of what Jesus will look like. If he comes down, no one knows. No one knows. But I do know one thing. He's been utilizing me as if he's utilizing himself. No joke. He is. He can verify it. It's like he's utilizing himself. So is he doing the second coming through me? I don't know. That's another thing I thought about. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. Has the second coming already happened because he lives through us? Me and you? I don't know. But that's just a question that I've thought about lately. God knows I think about these deep questions because there's a reason why God does everything to the exact detail of every hair on my head. The exact detail. God made the hair on my head like this. The exact detail for a reason. And that's what I've been thinking about lately. But God knows, for most of my life, it's interesting. I've hated the way I've looked. I've hated it. I've hated myself so much. It's not even funny. I even thought it was vanity to like the way I look. You know what I mean? But God wants me to like with the way I look. He does. I think so. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's gotten better. Yeah, I could be the cutest YouTuber around in my mind. Just kidding. That's what I say before my downfall. I know that, so I ain't gonna say that. But I have said that, but God wants me to love myself, so I can't say that. So it's interesting. But anyway, so that's the thing lately. Because when I was in washing my hands the other day at the store, I'm like, I looked in the mirror. I'm like, why did God make me look like this? It's a curious thing to ask yourself. It is. It is. For me, it is. Especially because God knows I don't look like anybody in my family. I don't. Not really. I don't look like anybody in my family. Siblings, parents, nobody. Not even cousins. I don't even look like cousins. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's very curious why God made me this design. And I thought about this today as well. When I was just sitting there not thinking anything about God or anything, just playing a video game and stuff, God was watching me. He was. He's like, I know who you are. I'm watching you, You don't even know it. I'm watching over you, my friend. You're just playing a video game. You're just watching Dragon Ball Z. You think that's all you're doing. But I'm watching over you, my friend. You know what I mean? Like, no bullshit. I wasn't sucking up to God at all most of my life. He knows. He's like, I'm watching over you. Doesn't matter. You're not sucking up to me. Doesn't matter. I'm still watching over you, my friend. That's why it threw me off, that God was tracking me. I figured it out way later in life. God really was tracking me. He was. Anywhere I went. No matter what the place was, wherever I was, God was tracking me. Best tracker I know is God, Jesus, best tracker. He's tracked me. I'm like, trying to hide from anything of this world. Government agencies trying to hide, that's nothing compared to trying to hide from God. Nothing from trying, so it's like, I might as well not hide at all. Here I am, God, I'm right here, not hiding. Kind of hiding in my mind, as you know, but still, I'm here, not hiding. People can physically see me, as you know. But that's been the interesting thing, because God has wanted me to interact with people, physically make an effort to really interact with people, especially lately with his real believers. The true believers of Jesus, he's making me interact with them, literally, for whatever reason. That's what he's having me do right now. No bullshit. I've never really done this before. Like I said, I was just a kid that wanted to be left. Most of my life, I just wanted to be left alone, out of God's ideas for me, out of God's plans for me. I just wanted to play a damn video game and be left alone. This is no joke. I wanted no part of the cult. Nothing. In the cult, they were teaching me, like, I can become like God. You can become God. In the cult, they taught that. They did. God knows it. I'm like, I don't want to become God. like, as a 5-year-old, I'm like, I don't want to become God. Are you kidding me? I still don't. You know what I mean? Imagine the responsibility. You know what I mean? I know I'm harsh on God, but fuck, it's a fucking huge responsibility to be a God. Huge. You have to know good and evil better than any human on the ground that thinks they know good and evil. You know what I mean? I think I'm a good judge of good and evil. I'm not. I'm learning that God knows the bigger picture of what good and evil is. The people that abused me and were doing evil acts against me, and I've thought about this as well. They were scared little children, like I was, against their abusers. Terrified children before they abused me. And I think that's what God was trying to tell me the other day, is that the people that caused me the most harm were scared little boys and girls growing up being abused by their parents. So badly they had to become this perfect thing that didn't even exist, this perfect psychopath narcissist, this character. They were abused so badly this character had to take over. This perfect character that you couldn't put a dent in. This just constant perfect character. You know what I'm talking about. My father played this perfect character 24/7 most of the time. This perfect character that wasn't real. My father did. This perfect character. That's why so many people liked my father. Even though he was a monster behind closed doors, everybody liked my father. He fooled everybody. He still does. He still fools everybody. They think he's a great person. My father's a psychopath. Full-blown psychopath. Everybody thinks he's great. Great person. Besides the people that are behind closed doors with him, they know the truth. But everybody else is like, oh, he's a great guy. You know what I mean? He's a fantastic member of the community. Fantastic. My father is. That's what I was up against. The most fantastic human you could imagine for the community. Both in religion, the community, as a neighbor. Scary shit. My father was perfect. And all that, performing for everybody. To be this perfect person. That's what I was up against. This perfect character. That if I were to tell anybody I'm being abused by this person, they wouldn't believe me for a second. You're just like, oh, you're just getting attention. Oh, you're just getting attention. You're lying. They wouldn't believe me. And I knew that growing up. I knew that my whole life. I'm like, no one would believe me. No one, of how they're treating me in the home. No one would believe me. No one. I didn't even think God would. That's why this is surprising that God knew what I went through. That's why this is really surprising, God was smart. He watched the whole thing. Especially if he recommended that movie, The Shack, to me the other day. You know what I mean? He saw my life. Yep. But yeah, that's what I was up against. I'm like, but anyways, enough about that. I always thought that they hated me because of the way I looked. Just the way I looked. And that's what I've been thinking about lately. Because they can't see my spirit. They just see my physical looks. They hated me. So there was something to the physical presentation that made them hate me. It's almost like the psychopath demons in them hated the way I looked because maybe I looked like Jesus or something. I don't know. Nobody knows what Jesus looks like right now. Nobody does. In his resurrected body. That resurrected body that he walked around the earth for a bit. Not the body he suffered in Gethsemane in. Not the body he was crucified in. Not that body. The resurrected body. What did that look like? That's what this video is about. Because it was almost, I think, wasn't there like a scripture that said they didn't recognize him in his resurrected body? He had to prove it with the scars in his hands and stuff. They didn't recognize Jesus' face in his resurrected body. They didn't recognize his face. I think there was scripture about that. They didn't recognize his physical face. You know what I mean? He had to prove it with the scars on his body. You know what I mean? So that's what it was interesting. What did Jesus look like physically in his resurrected body? His face, what did it look like? And I've always been curious. God God's been wanting to utilize me for this great purpose my whole life. I just wanted to play video games, be left alone. Watch Dragon Ball Z, be left alone. I still do. But God still wanted me to utilize me for this grand purpose. He designed me to look like this for something. So I'm like, why? Why? But only God knows what Jesus physically looks like right now. I think. Maybe others in the other realm knows what Jesus looks like. They've seen Jesus. But I don't know what Jesus physically looks like. If Jesus was to physically come in his resurrected body, would I be looking at someone that looks like me physically? That's what I'm thinking. That's why this is deep. I'm like, would I be looking at someone that looks similar to me physically? Same color of eyes, similar design in the face. I don't know. Just curious. But I thought about this, like, if God wanted to utilize someone for a grand purpose for him, for Jesus, would he choose to make someone, he designed me to look a certain way on purpose? Would he design me to look that way? So people looking at me physically, it'd be like they're physically seeing Jesus, the physical face of Jesus right now. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's what I've been thinking about lately. I don't know. Is God warming everybody up to the face of what Jesus looks like through me already? I don't know. I don't know. But God's really been trying to get in my head that Jesus was resurrected. He was. He was resurrected. So he has a resurrected body right now. So what does that face look like? You know what I mean? What does it look like? Nobody knows on the ground what the physical face of Jesus looks like. If Jesus was walking around in his physical body right now or on this earth around people, no one would know that's Jesus. No one would. They wouldn't know what he looked like. It's deep shit, but I think about this deep stuff. I do. And it's not egocentric. God made me look like this for a reason for him. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why? Why this design? It doesn't really serve any purpose in any other way. Just like, oh, he's an attractive fellow. He could probably attract women. Other than that, what the hell is the purpose of my physical design? I don't care about that shit. I want to know what God made my physical design for. You know what I mean? Attracting the opposite sex is just a bonus to what God wants my design to be. It is. It's just a bonus. That's why I'm trying to figure out what the real purpose of my physical design for God is. For God to make me look like this. He didn't physically make me like this to attract the opposite sex only. He didn't. Not at all. You know what I mean? He knows that, like, I'm the Wolverine, the women don't pick me anyways. It's not about that. It never was. It never was. My physical design by God was never about attracting the opposite sex. Never. It was about something else, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out these things. Because I feel like some of you were designed by God on purpose to look like the way you look physically for a reason. For a reason, you know what I mean? He designed you himself. Every hair on your head, he designed it. Everything. For a long time, I didn't believe that detail, that he knew every hair on my head. I'm like, nah. But in the last few years, it seems like he knows me to that detail. He does. He knows my hair would look like this right now at this time. He knew exactly. You know what I mean? That's how he can predict my future. He knows what I'll look like in the future. In a relationship and with my son Timmy, God knows me to that level of detail. He does. It's scary. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I've thought all along, even though God said that I would be in a real relationship and have a kid, probably Timmy, I'll call him. Even that'll happen maybe because God said so through somebody. You know what I mean? I hope it was from God that someone told. I think it was because they told me something else that God said, and it happened. So this other thing that they said from God, this other promise from God, I assume will happen because what they told me would happen from God back then, God backed it up. It happened, and it was I thought it was an impossible thing that they promised to me. What God through them promised me, I thought it was so impossible back then. This is when I thought I outsuffered Jesus, and Jesus couldn't help me at all. I thought I outsuffered him. How could Jesus help me if I outsuffered him? I went through more than Jesus. How could he possibly help me? That's where I was at. How could God possibly help me if I thought I outsuffered God himself? That's where I was at back then. So I had to go off a lot of faith that this person was telling me the truth about what God was telling me, that he could pull off this promise. And he did. He backed it up. God backed up this promise to me when I thought I outsuffered Jesus himself back then. When I was sitting there and I completely, this is when God, that period of time that God allowed me to think I outsuffered Jesus entirely, like victoriously, like he couldn't help me, he couldn't match me. I outsuffered him. God gave me that period of time to think I outsuffered Jesus for real. That's the kind of guy God is. He knew how important that was to me, to outsuffer Jesus. It was that important to me. It was so important to me. It was not even funny. Like I said, I've been doing all these other things in life, pretending I'm living life. You know what I mean? Doing all this humanly stuff, pretending to live life. But in reality, I'm trying to outsuffer Jesus since I was a boy. Yep. All that hard effort throughout my whole life, all that strain, all that determination, all that everything was trying to outsuffer the man himself. The man himself. Not all these peons on the ground that think they're so great. These humans that think they're so great. I was trying to outdo the man himself. Jesus himself. The real one. No bullshit. God knows it. No bullshit. And there was a funny part in the Shaq movie. I don't know if any of you've seen the Shaq movie. It's good. It's a good movie. If you were abused in religion and your view of God got skewed badly because you were abused in religion, that's a good movie for you to watch. The Shack, for sure. I'll recommend it to you. If you had a horrible experience in religion and your view of God was horrible, I recommend seeing that movie. It might help. You know what I mean? It might. Of the bigger picture of it all. You know what I mean? But anyways, there's a part in that movie. In my mind, I'm still trying to outdo Jesus. You know it. I know it. I'm trying to be better than Jesus in every way. There's a part in that movie where he's racing Jesus on the water. They're running on the water, the both of them. Him and Jesus are running on the water. He's racing Jesus on the water, together. They're having a good time. I'm like, I could beat you in a race, Jesus. In my mind, the rivalry's still going. It is. I'm like, I could outrace you on the water, Jesus. I could, no problem. That's what I was saying. I was watching the movie. My Jesus issues are still not over. Like, I could outrun you on the water, no problem. Everybody knows that. I know it. I could beat you in a race on the water. I'm faster than you, Jesus. Everybody knows that I'm faster. No sweat. I'm wearing my Warrior of Christ shirt right now. No accident. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about this stuff, trying to beat Jesus in a race and wearing my Warrior of Christ shirt, representing Jesus. God damn it. It's kind of a beaten down shirt, It doesn't say word. You can't see the words Warrior of Christ on it anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll have to get a new shirt, a Warrior of Christ. But it takes a lot of, in my mind, it takes a lot to actually wear a shirt, a Warrior of Christ, and really mean it, that you really are a Warrior of Christ, and God knows. That's why I don't have a ton of shirts about Jesus. I don't. I have shirts about warrior stuff, Spartans, being a general, I got, Megadeth, I got that kind of stuff. But I only have one Warrior of Christ shirt. I don't see myself as a full representative of Jesus. I don't. I'm not gonna lie. God knows it. I'm not gonna pretend to be someone I'm really not. I'm trying to help Jesus. Yes, I am. He knows it. I'm trying. For once in my life. Legitimately trying, I am. Doing what he wants. What I feel that Jesus wants exactly. I'm finally trying to do it. But at the same time, I'm not wearing a cross over I'm not wearing a necklace with a cross. I'm not wearing cross earrings. You know what I mean? I'm not going to portray things to the people like, oh, I'm this hardcore follower of Jesus. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try to lie to people. You know what I mean? Because even now, I don't see myself as a true follower of Jesus through and through. I don't. If I did, I'd drop some of my bad habits completely. I'm trying, but I would immediately, I'm like, yep, Jesus is number one. Jesus comes first over anything in my life, even bad habits. Jesus comes first. I haven't hit that point entirely. God knows. So I'm not going to walk around wearing some cross on my shirt. You know what I mean? It takes more than that to be a real man of God than just wear stuff of God. God knows that means nothing to me. You back it up with your actions, not just wearing stuff. Oh yeah, I have a cross on my necklace. Oh yeah, I believe in Jesus because I have a cross on my necklace. Yep. But later today, I'll watch something on TV that is against what Jesus believes in, but I'm wearing a cross on my shirt. You know what I'm talking about. You know the type of people I'm talking about. Oh, I'm wearing a cross on my necklace, but the same day I'm watching something that Jesus wouldn't even want me to watch. You get what I mean? So I'm not going to be a false representative like bullshit people. I'm not. Like I said, I'm being honest. I'm at the beginning stages of actually trying to be a real Christian, a real follower of Jesus. I'm at the beginning stages still. I am. God's warming me up. Like I said, He's just warming me up for the people, for the masses. But anyways, but that's not what this video is about. And I don't think these questions come to me by accident. These questions come to me from God. I know they do. For me to figure out. And this is the question of now. Why did God make me this physical design? This physical design. Why did God make me this physical design? This specific. He's perfect. God's perfect. He made me this specific design for a reason. For a reason. I've been trying to figure it out. I don't know. But God knows I've hated this physical design most of my life. I hated my body. That's why this is a challenge. To love my body, myself. And I feel like I've been getting there. But it's hard, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I was taught to hate myself. If you hate yourself, that means you're humble. To Jesus, if you hate yourself, you're humble, You're not vain because you hate yourself. That's what I thought my whole life. Oh, I'm not vain because I hate myself. You know what I mean? I have no vanity because I hate myself. You know what I mean? But anyways, God wants me to love myself. You can love yourself without the vanity somehow, Somehow, But anyways, God knows I try to figure these things out. these riddles. God's a man of riddles, a man of parables, a man of riddles. And the riddle now is, why did he make me this physical design? Why? You know what I mean? He made me this design for a reason. For people to see something with me, you know what I mean? And that's why I always assumed, what the hell does Jesus look like right now? What does he look like? If Jesus was physically sitting next to me, and we were both on the video camera together, would me and Jesus look similar in the face? Would we? That's what I'm trying to figure out. People are like, oh, what's up, Jesus? I was looking at this other guy for all these years that looked just like you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've been watching him on YouTube for so long. He looks just like you. No bullshit. That's what's crazy about this. That's what I'm trying to figure out. People are like, oh, hey, yeah. You know, just interacting with the real Jesus. The real Jesus. Yeah, I was looking at someone that looked just like you on YouTube for all these years. I was looking at someone that looked just like you. No bullshit. That's what I was always curious about. If Jesus was physically here in his resurrected body, what would his face look like? Would it look like mine? I don't know. I don't know what Jesus would look like physically. I don't know. That's what I was curious. Because, you know, God made me for this grand purpose I didn't even know about most of my life. This grand purpose for him. So he made me this physical design on purpose. Because he had this grand purpose ahead of time for me. So he designed me physically a certain way on purpose. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I look like no one in my family of origin. Not even close. Not even close. My biological father has black hair, brown eyes. Looks nothing like me. I'll say that again. My biological father has black hair, brown eyes. Looks nothing like me. My mother has red hair. I have blonde hair. Get what I mean? They probably were like, well, who is this? He doesn't even look like he was born from me. He doesn't look like he was even born from that's probably why they hated me. He doesn't even look like he was born into the proper family. Doesn't even look like it. My parents probably like in the hospital, they're like, he doesn't even look like any of us. Well, it's hard to tell if you're a baby, but when I grew up to be like 5, they could see that I didn't look like any of them. Not even close. Like, he doesn't even look like us at all. Let's hate him. Let's hate him. He doesn't look like us at all. You know. That's what I thought about. I'm like, why don't I look like anybody in my family? My siblings. Brown hair, brown eyes. Brown hair, brown eyes. My siblings. Blonde hair, blue-green eyes, me. I don't look like anybody in my family. Direct family. Nobody. God did something because of God did that for a reason. Look at any of the photos I have of my family growing up. I'm so out of place, it's not even funny. I'm so out of place, it's not even funny. But God does everything for a reason. He probably thought it was funny. Oh, I'll put this person with a different design in this family to be funny. You know what I mean? This rainbow in the dark. This bright little rainbow. I'm going to put them in this dark ass family with brown eyes. A family that just had brown eyes, brown hair, black hair. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, it's crazy. You see any family photo of me, I look nothing like anybody in my family. It's so weird. I'm so out of place. That's probably why they hated me. I look nothing like them. That's what this is about. This is a deep fucking video. I'm trying to figure this out once and for all, once and for all, because this is serious. And maybe it's one of my issues. I'm like, God made me look so different from my family. He did, for a reason. I'm trying to figure it out. So much so, I'm like, what the hell does God look like right now? What the hell does Jesus physically look like right now? You know what I mean? Does he look like me? Like I said, when he was resurrected, people didn't recognize him. I'm pretty sure that's what it said in the Bible. They didn't recognize his face. They didn't recognize the face of Jesus. He had to prove that he was Jesus in a different way. Something like that, you know what I mean? Like, no bullshit. Like, you're not the one that was nailed to the cross. So Jesus had a different face. So what does that face look like? That's what I'm asking. So, is God, like I thought of this, God make me look this way physically? Because I don't think my spirit doesn't look like this physical form. It doesn't. And God knows it as well. It doesn't. So, why did he physically make me look like this? For people to see. Anybody that sees me in the physical realm, the earthly realm, they see me, they see this face. Why? What reason? What purpose? It's more than just, oh, God just randomly made me look like this, just randomly. Because a lot of people think that, oh, random, biology, science, it's all random. But lately I'm like, God had a design. He knows every hair on my head. It wasn't random. How I look is not random at all for God. So what's he playing at? That's what I always say. I'm like, what's God playing at here? What's he doing with my physical looks? You know what I mean? Why? Like I said, if the second coming came, you know what I mean? And Jesus was in all his glory, you know what I mean? What would he look like if if someone looked at his face really closely, what would he look like? Physically. If someone were to touch his face, what would it look like? What would his eyes look like? You know what I mean? Would people say, oh, yeah, like I was saying, I was watching this guy on YouTube, you know, he claimed to be your general and all that. He looks similar to you. Do you know him? Jesus would be like, yes, he's my friend. He would. That's what throw people off. But he talks trash about you, Jesus. He's like, I know. I love him anyways. Yep. That's the kind of guy he is, you know what I mean? Yep. Man, I didn't know that would get me emotional. But it is. He's like, yeah. He's mad at me. You know what I mean? It's like, him and I were best friends, you know. So he's mad at me. Jesus would say that. And he would also be like, yep, he is what he says he is. You know, despite all his flaws and everything, Jesus he would back me up. I am who I say I am. One of God's generals. Gladiator. Noble and great one. Elect of God. All those things are true. Despite all my flaws and issues. My fall from grace. All those things are true. God knows it. He's trying to redeem me, He's still trying to redeem me. Give me a second chance. Even though I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to have a second chance. I don't deserve to have a second chance at life. I gave up that idea. So, God showed me mercies. Still, is throwing me off. He's showing me mercy. He is. So, everybody be like, talking to Jesus, like, why don't you strike that man down? Why didn't you ever strike him down? Send him to hell. He would say, I know what he's been through. It seems like he does know what I've been through somehow. He does. As much as I don't want to believe it, he does. Somehow, Jesus knows what I've been through. Somehow. It's crazy, you know what I mean? He never gives up on me. He never. I give up on myself. I try to make him give up on me. Try to get Jesus mad to strike me down. He won't do it. He won't strike me dead. Send me to hell. Send me to outer darkness. He doesn't. It's interesting. No matter how much I want it, how much I want Jesus to take me out, no matter how much I want it, how much I tell him to, he won't do it. He won't do it. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. I always told myself, like, yeah, the Jesus that religion always talks about, he wouldn't know what I've been through. He wouldn't know. He's too disconnected. He wouldn't know. He couldn't get it. He couldn't understand what I've been through in its entirety. He couldn't comprehend that, what I've been through, you know. But anyways, enough about that. He made me look like this. That's what this video is about. For some reason. Somehow the opposition, the demons, Satan, they recognize me. Off my physical looks, I have no doubt. The way I physically look, they recognize me. Not just my spirit, they recognize my physical design. I have no doubt of that. So I'm like, as the opposition, when they saw Jesus' resurrected self, what did Jesus look like? What does Jesus' resurrected face look like? I don't know. So that's what this video is about. So when people see my face, are they seeing the face of what Jesus looks like in a way? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. So it's interesting. So anyway. So I better get going, but that's all I want to say for this video, I think.